This was on videotape that was shown at the Alternate Energy Conference in Denver a couple of weeks ago. And I guess the tape is beginning to circulate. This is one of the most astonishing things I've ever seen in my life, and really points out and illustrates in very graphic terms the whole concept of being able to create your reality. This person is an autistic savant, which, you know, like the whole Rain Man syndrome, he's basically functional but hyper-focused and is under the care of a doctor, a psychologist. He is a ward of the state. He does not live on his own. He cannot function socially on his own, at least at the time of the tape, which seems like it may have been a few years back. But this videotape is of this guy, Daniel, who at the time looked like maybe he was in his late 20s, maybe early 30s. Very unassuming, very friendly, but has communication skill hindrances in that he can talk about what it is that he does, but he can't take questions. It's very odd. He's got to have people have to write the questions down, hand them to the doctor has to discuss it with him, and then get an answer back to these people. So this whole tape is basically this person, Daniel, lecturing to a group of about 20 engineers and scientists on what it is that he builds. And these are the things he builds, and you can find this really, really fascinating. Now, you don't need to have an amazing amount of knowledge about electricity or electronics or anything like that. Everyone basically understands that if you have certain kinds of things that need to work, you need a circuit to be there. You need certain kinds of wires, you need a power source, and all this kind of stuff, just real simplistic stuff. Well, this guy is building things that work, and nobody can understand how they work at all. At all. Mm-hmm. And it became quite apparent that there's something else going on here altogether. So I drew a few of the devices so you can kind of get a schematic idea of what we're talking about here. All of these are basically nothing more than what you see. I have not simplified these devices. These are this simple, okay? And they're all built on clear sheets of plexiglass. So you can hold this thing up on the video, you can see them on the video, you can see through it, you can see there's nothing else to it other than what this guy is holding in his hand and what he demonstrates and what the scientists are capable of actually holding in their hands and working as well. Okay, the first device is basically a flat sheet of plexiglass. You have a small bulb here, you have one wire going to a switch, and that wire continues to a 1.5 volt battery. Then it continues to a coil, and this bulb also is connected to a coil. Now the coils, every time I mention a coil, because this happens a lot, it's really nothing more than him having taken a piece of paper, wound it around a pencil, and wrapped a few wire windings around it, and tied it together, taken it off, and glued it to the board. That's all these coils are. There's nothing in them. They're not around magnets or anything like that. Okay? So, not only that, but in every case where I mention that a device has a battery, the battery is dead. Okay? The scientists took the batteries out, put them into a device to see if it was working. Nothing. He will pick the battery up, and they'll say, this battery's dead. He'll go like this. No, it's not. And he'll put it back in. This light bulb goes on when he pushes the switch. There is no circuit here. There is a dead battery. This light bulb goes on and off when he pushes this switch. He can give it to anyone. They can push the switch, the light bulb will go on and off. If anyone else builds one of these, even if they replicate his actions, action for action, item for item, exactly the way he did it, it will not work for them. It will only work when he builds it, and it will work all the time no matter who has it. They even took these devices to other countries, and they still work, even when he's not around. So when he says it works, it works. Now that's just the beginning. The second device was, again, a clear sheet of plexi. You have a battery, again, that's dead, a coil. This wire goes to 4 switches in sequence. Okay? They're wired one to the other. Then it goes one wire to this point, and from that point, 4 wires, one to each motor with a propeller on it. He will hit this switch, and that motor will go on. He will hit that switch, and that motor will go on. There is no way this should be happening. This should be wired completely differently. Plus, again, there's no real circuit, and there's no battery anyway. That's workable, okay? This one is an outlet that plugs into a wall. Again, this is really simple. A coil, a bulb socket, a coil. A little piece of wire stuck on the side. You plug it into the wall, you can put a 12-volt direct current bulb in there, which will go on. Unscrew it, take it out, and put a 110-volt AC bulb in there, which will also go on. Okay? It gets way worse than this. Way, way worse than this.